celebration of spring in our life, which is realize, recover, and retain. It's very interesting. I'm sure you know tomorrow is a spring day. So the spring season starts. This is in nature's laws or rules have been made depending upon the nature's cycle. And we get the message from the nature's changing. But also in many religious traditions, we get the messages by celebration of various things. So it's interesting, yesterday, Hindu Mandir had a holy program, colors. The holy is really, in a way, religious, which is a good over evil. But then also we get the message that, but then at the same time, the spring is around the corner, so we celebrate with the colors. Joy, enjoyment, because the good has won over the evil. And India is a very, and all over the world, at least the Hindus, culture and Indians, celebrate Holi with gusto. And I understand they are going to celebrate here today at 11:30. Now the Holi was last week. I'm sure in India it was celebrated last week. But celebration don't have time, you know. You don't have to go by the time. It has to go to convenience, the people's mood and everything. So the celebration would be great. But also, during this month and the next month, there are many events. Events symbolizes the message of peace, message of love. For example, we will have the Holi already, Ram Navami in April 5, which is Bhagwan Ram's birthday, is celebrated. And after 4 days, it is a Mahavir Jayanti, which is Bhagwan Mahavir's message of Ahimsa and nothing. But also, there is in a Jewish tradition, also is a Palm Sunday, which is on 4/10, and then next day is a Passover, and then Good Friday coming up, and then of course the Easter, which is a Sunday after Good Friday. Also, we already in India, we celebrated here too Vasanta Panchami. So I think all these religious tradition, holidays, celebrations are there, but there is a message to us to realize, and that's what we are going to talk about, that message today. Seasons are rhythmic, cycling. They are going, flowing like a stream. And when season, I think we will see it very soon. Minnesota is late in spring blooming, but we will have pretty soon flowers of spring. We will have vegetation, the greenery, and the streams flowing, and birds will be chirping, many birds. Birds are there still, but not as many. So the nature is giving the message to us, the time to change. The message is cyclic, rhythm. So this is the same way the process in life is. Our life is a process. We have a vibration, repulsions, and going on. And the vibration of, in our personal life, the vibrations of attractions and repulsions, attachments and aversions. So the life cycle goes on. So what kind of a message we are going to get? What happens, what we have since our birth, we have been conditioned by our culture, by our country, by our geographical area, by our religious tradition, in certain ways. And many times we become rigid. And when we become rigid in certain things, there is no flow. And if there is no flow, it becomes kind of a crowded. So the spring and the nature's message is we have to keep that mind free. So what has happened with all this preconditioning, our mind has become kind of a rigid. We have certain things. So Bhagwan Mahavir's message was that Upneva, Vigneva and Dueva. Upneva is kind of an integration and Vigneva is a destruction. Among origination and destruction, there is a permanence, Dueva, the permanence. The changes are occurring, but the permanence is there. And then many times we forget that permanence. What happens since our birth, we are changing, which is change. And we grow up, become adult, old, and die. That's a cycle. Then many times we are attached to the life so much, on our death, we are all, well, if we can predict that thing, but our relatives, we are attached to that person. Even though we know about it, that sooner or later person has to die. But due to our attachment, we call it love, relationship, we are very sad. The message of the spring is that accept the change. Accept the change and not be rigid. Because if we accept the change, then lots of possibility. Why we have to accept the change? Because we have to believe or realize there is behind this change, there is a changeless. Changeless is, that's what you are. You are not body. So first thing we have to distinguish, who am I? I, which is my body and the name my parents have given, or whatever the degrees I have, whatever owner of that house or owner of the various properties, who am I? So I think when we have this spring of life, this is the time to evaluate ourselves, who we are. Am I? The problem is that big capital I. We associate I, there are two I's. The real I is changeless. Real I is changeless. The real I was not born. Yes, when we take a birth, yes, we are born. But the real I was not born, was not created, would not be destroyed. That's the permanence. However, due to our karmas and various conditions, we call it origination, we call it birth, and then also Vigneva, we call it destruction. So that between that line, in a worldly or social terms, we call it I. So when I say realize, we have to realize to remove this parallax between real I and artificial I. Many times we associate with artificial, we consider body is I. But body is not permanent, right? We know that. You know, in Mahabharata, Yudhishthira was asked, what did you notice about humankind which makes you think about it. You see, most of the human beings, when they see person dying or going their sub, when people are going to the samsan, the cremation place, they look at it and let it go. Does not affect, because it's not theirs. They are not attached to that person with them. But you see, that's the strange thing humankind has forgotten, that sooner or later we have to go. It's our attachment to the body. We always think that this is not going to change. I mean, we are so proud of ourselves, our achievements, our body, we are proud of ourselves. Because we are attached to that thing. Because everybody recognizes us through that lens. But we got to go deeper. We have to go deeper in ourselves to find out who we are. One thing, we are alone. Even though we say, we have our family, wife, parents, sister, brothers, friends, and everything. But in reality, we are alone. Because when the time comes for the death, nobody is going to help us to stop it here. Even the doctor would not be. So once we know about that thing, we are alone. Does that mean? No, we are not alone. Alone is, that's what we have to think about. The real I in you is the same real I in everybody else. So now you are connected. The real I in everyone, in you as well as others, you are all connected. Once we realize that thing, then many of the problems can be solved. Happiness, unhappiness, hatred, all jealousy. So whatever this I wants it, same other I want. So our life, then we can change our life accordingly. See, the attachment, there is a one good example to learn. In the boss, in a factory, the servants got a telegram, or worker got a telegram, your mother is dead. I know, person, when some news comes to you and you are far away, your mother is dead. Of course, mother who has given you birth, you are affected. You want to go home and be with your friends and family and everyone else. So he ran to the boss's office, and boss wasn't there. He had gone to the lunch. So he put the telegram on the boss's desk. And then he left. The boss came back. Without looking at whose telegram it is, he saw, your mother is dead. So the boss started crying. He was so upset, completely upset. Then this worker came back and he saw the boss was crying. And he realized that what had happened. So he just started telling, sir, my mother has passed away. My mother is dead. Oh, so your mother is dead, my mother is dead. We are all unhappy people. We are sad. This worker says, no, sir, not your mother, my mother. As soon as this guy says, my mother and not his, he changed, his mood completely changed. Now he started giving him advice. You know very well, we all have to go once. You don't have to go, because this is the life. So see the attachment, how the attachment, when the truth is there, we know the truth. But as long as the truth is for others, we don't worry about it. When truth comes to us, because we are attached, don't we worry about it. Instead of becoming a kind of a sympathetic with this other worker, yes, you go, he started lecturing him. So the point is that most of the time with attachments we have with ours, we are unhappy. So the I, we got to find the real I among ourselves. Attachments, again, the mind. Our mind is the one who creates all the circles. Mind makes attachments to various things. Whatever it has created, whether it's things, objects, ideas, relationship, and postures. I am, that's the real I am. But many times what we have, I want. So our desires or trasana keeps us keeping, all these things. So once we have our connection with the real I, once we separate the body from the real I. Real I, we call it soul. And soul in everyone is the same. Only thing, why we have differences? Differences due to the different karmas. That's the way we have taken the birth. And we already have the truth that we never die, even though our body dies. Once we realize that truth, then we are friends. So many times these attachments, there is another good example in the Ferris wheel. You know Ferris wheel? And when we are sitting on the seat, we see it when we are high, looking at the peripheral. We are looking at the peripheral of the world, or peripheral things. And when you are in the seat can go up and seat can go down. So in our life is similar like that. With every turn of that Ferris wheel, either we are up or we are down. However, if we keep ourselves at the center, then we can look the entire picture. So if you compare the life with the Ferris wheel, you always stay at the center of you, the real I. And then you look at from the center, from the center you can see everything, right? From the center you can see everything. But if you are in peripheral, you are looking at. But what happens most of the time in our lives, we are at the peripheral because we are looking at the outside things all the time. So that's another relationship we can develop. The truth must be found in the life of the spring. The truth is, one thing, independence. We are independent. Equality. And then we are looking for the happiness. So that's where all real eyes, or all souls are looking for that. So we got to accept the changes in our life. Then, once we realize who am I, where I have come from, what is the mission in my life, then we can understand, we can think about it, we can introspection, and what is my real function in the life is. Here is the thing, we came alone. And we are going to go alone. We are not going to take anything, whatever we have in between that dash, we are not going to take anything, whatever the relationship we have developed, whatever the wealth we have developed, whatever the degree we have developed, we are not going to take with. So this aloneness would remind us, what should I be doing? What really should be? Should I be creating the jealousy, hatred, greediness, all these vices during this dash period. Should I be spending my life on that? What would I be taking with me? I will be taking with me my good karmas, or my good relationship with people, love. I will not be taking all other things, material things. So why I am running around? Of course, material things are necessary for living. But why am I running after all those things and creating the bad karmas? So that's what, again, realization. What is important in our life? Running after the material things, or realizing who am I? So this spring gives us these changes that gives a great opportunity to realize if we are not there to find the real I, or who am I, can I spend more time? Because this is not easy to find real I, because we have been covered with cocoons for many, many years, or maybe many, many lives. So our springtime, or the realization, is to uncover those negativities, uncover those cocoons, and find the real self. So that requires work. That requires work is the and I'll talk about the curve. Before that, I would just say, we have recovering. Why we recover? Because we have many holes in our lives. Why we have holes? Because those are conditions created by outside circumstances, or by our cravings or prasana, because we want more and more and more. So question is to close those holes, and for that one you require analysis, or another word I would call it meditation. Because most of the time we are busy in the hustle and bustle of the world. We don't have time to look at ourselves. Most of the time we are looking outside the world. Most of the time we are going after that and going after that, just running around. And nowadays with this social media, we spend a lot of time on their social media. The question is, what am I looking for? In order to find the real I, which we talked about, and separating this artificial I, the meditation is so necessary. And here is Arvind Nayak in our audience here. He talks about the meditation all the time. The question is, can we do it in our life? The meditation is again finding yourself. Who are you? Meditation helps to uncover many, many things. Meditation, there are many kinds of meditation. There is a Vipassana meditation. There are many kinds of meditation. And breathing techniques. The techniques are there. So you can employ the techniques, or mantras, or you can have a lamp, or anything you can use. You have all those things. The last idea is to concentrate, but the whole idea of meditation would be to analyze yourself, who you are. Go back to the past. Uncover the past. And then let go of that past. We have collected so many negative things in our past. And we worry about the past. Why we want to worry about the past? Is gone. Past don't have much impact on your current what you are. So first thing, we should not worry about the past, as well as we should not worry about the future. We should live in the present. So the meditation is to retain, once we recover from our negativities, meditation would help us to retain ourselves and of course get the knowledge. Meditation, the knowledge, the appreciation what has been given to you in this world. We are so fortunate. Human species is so fortunate that nature has given us so much. So much. So some of the things really we don't need much. But our, the negative things, the greed. Many of the problems in the world are greed. If you look at the history, even on a personal life, community life, national life, how many problems are created the greed. The violence actually comes from the greed. Violence comes from that anger. Violence comes from the deceit. And violence comes from the ego. So, when we are in meditating, when we are trying to find our real self, who am I? We have to ask the question ourselves. Have I done this either during the day or during the past? Meditation is a great laboratory, cleansing laboratory for daily life. Because whatever has happened during daytime or in the past, you can cleanse it yourself. And hopefully it doesn't happen again. You got to ask the question, have I committed any violence today? Have I hurt anybody's feeling? Have I created any pain? Why any actions have done that? So that kind of a question we have to ask. The greed. Greed is taking away from others. Greed is by unnecessary, unjust means to collect the stuff, hoarding. Coming back to hoarding, the spring. Here in this country we have a spring cleaning time, right? Spring cleaning, everybody say clean up the spring, whatever you have collected in the house which you don't need, give it away, which is true. We should have the cleaning of material things which have been done all the time. Clean up the garage, clean up the closets, all those things. When are we able to clean up our files which we have collected over the years? So the springtime for the life is a clean up time for ourselves. Open up those past files, throw it, let it go. If somebody has done wrong in the past, what does it matter anymore? Clean it up. Let it go. If we do that, then of course our real I would come. And when we uncover all those things, then you live in the present. Then also many times people worry about the future. Many times you have seen, the weather is great today, so let's enjoy everything. Somebody would come and say, my God, tomorrow is going to be freezing, rain and everything. He's worrying about today instead of enjoying right now. So to live in the moment, live in the present without worrying about the past, without worrying about the future. Of course you do the planning. That's not it, but not worrying. The worry sometimes is not good. So there are 3 W's we should not have. Do not worry, then do not wait. Do it now. If some of the things has to be done, do it now. Don't wait. You don't know what will happen tomorrow. So there's a plan of action of life. Again, coming back to that I. The real I does not know when I have to go. The artificial I say, oh yes, I can live all my life. I will have my body just like the way I was a youth. And many times we worry about the body getting old, prickles and all that. But that's a natural process of the life. We all got old. We are born, we get adult, we enjoy this adulthood, and we are... So, the life is to be living in a rhythmic mode. We do not worry about it. Life the birth and death are nothing but the same waves. It's the same waves of the ocean, which changes. Then we don't have to worry about the life, what will happen. Many times people worry that once you die, this is it. But in Eastern philosophy, we say the consciousness, spirit, never dies. And in Bhagavad Gita I said that. It changes the clothes, but we never die. So once we are convinced about that my real I is never going to die, then we can do, and real I want to realize real myself. It's not an easy spot right away you get. Maybe take this lifetime, or who knows, many lifetimes to find the real I when you become a sthit prajna, when you become the merge with the universal. So when I connect with the universal I, which is you, others, all that thing, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the whole universe, when we connect with them, that's we are realizing the love, the universal love, not this attachment love, only limited love. Everyone, sharing that love with everyone. So that's the I you want to find from that loneliness or aloneness or swattva. Swattva. You are to find the Paramatma Tattva, or allness, all oneness, all oneness. Your oneness you can find the all. So, coming back to this spring cleaning, let's do in our life this cleaning. This is the great time. Tomorrow is the spring day. We can clean up. Just meditate. And ask the question, who am I? Really, who am I? What I have done so far in my life? Have I pleased everyone? Am I controlled by others? Whatever I have done because others told me to do their thing? Have I done independently anything for myself? So those kind of a question in the meditation we have to ask, and then we have to take the action. So the meditation, and of course the lifetime learning. Learning never stops. If you want to retain that idea, learning never stops. You learn always new. Many times people close their eyes. They don't want to listen to anything. Many times we have carried the old dogmas, old traditions or old adages because we become rigid. If we have a lifetime learning, then we can change our life according to the changes we can make. And the third one is the introspection. And then experience. You should experience the life yourself. Don't listen to somebody else. Don't accept the words, because the words could have been written many, many eons ago or years ago, based on at that time the person who wrote or person who experienced at that time, the place, time period, and so the things are changing. So we got to change our outlook on the life according to the conditions what we have. Some of the adages are here. We are all one. We have only to go into the depth of aloneness to know the meaning of all oneness. So, to summarize, the spring of life is realize your real I, get rid of the ego, what we have. In order to find the real I, go into meditation. Get rid of the cocoons we have built up over the years. And then harmonize with the nature around us, harmonize with the world around us. We have harmony, which also translates to love for each other. Because once we recognize the I which is throbbing in you, is also throbbing in everyone else. So I think that's the key to find it. Then know yourself. We got to know ourselves, who we are, where we stand, in others. Once we have that one, then we will be emitting positive vibrations to others. Okay. Peace and bliss to meditation, introspection. Amity for all, the friendship with all. Not only your friends, everything, all being, not only human, but all living beings. And then this is the one, the Earth Day is coming up in April. I think it's April 20th or something like that. Earth Day, which has been a new phenomenon a few years now. For Earth Day, what is telling us, reduce it. Reduce it, reuse it, and recycle it. The reduced one, it fits very well with trusna, or craving. We have to reduce the cravings and desires for material things. We don't have to hold it. We don't have to live it. So, and we know that there are finite things in this world. We cannot waste it. So this reduce applies not only for the material things, but the reduce can apply with our life realization, which is reducing the anger, reducing the ego, reducing the greed, and so that's why reducing would be very important in our life. Not only material and energy things, those are very nice, all those things, but coming back to realization of our life, we have to reduce these things, the vasanas or cravings. Many times what happens to people when they are in distress, to forget that distress, either they overeat, drink, or go to very impermanent entertainment, which would be very short term. And then nowadays in this country, or maybe other countries too, they're using the drugs, opioids, to forget these temporary things, temporary mistakes, ruining their lives. So hopefully we do not have to take these props. We use the props, these are our props to forget some of the things. These things don't help. These are very temporary. Many times take the aspirins and medicine. Medicines are necessary, but not to become attached to it. So these reduce. Then of course another one is a reuse and a recycle. Now these are all conservation principles for Earth Day coming up, but we could apply to our life in a daily life basis. Today is the tomorrow. Today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. Today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. So those things, amity for all, compassion, appreciation. And once we have this thing, meditation, appreciation, finding the real I, you will find equanimity. You will find serenity in yourself. You will find calmness in yourself. So with that one, I will open up for the questions and comments. Yes.
So how do you spoke, I really like how you talked about people that are greedy are creating bad karmas. That was kind of interesting. I never really thought about that. So are they creating bad karmas just for themselves, or are they creating bad karmas for others as well?
Well, anytime you do any activity, you are creating karmas for yourself. But your karmas have an impact on other people. Your actions can affect other people. So, of course, you are creating karmas in your bank account, but the impact of the good or bad karmas are on the others. For example, if you give a donation for a food bank or something like that, it's a good karma for you, but at the same time you're helping others. But at the same time, if you create a war or kill somebody or something, not only you're creating karma, but you're affecting other souls. So it's a two-way street.
So what is our responsibility to respond when we see people creating acts out of greed, doing acts out of greed that are creating bad karmas? What is our role to do in that situation?
Our role would be, question is, you can't go and tell the other person that you don't collect. If they are collecting by unnecessary means, exploiting the others, as a citizen, your right would be to stop that kind of exploitation. And that's why the personal responsibility is to take actively part, individually, collectively, to oppose these kind of activities. Yes, that could be our action. Gandhiji's, when he saw that the British were using India for exploitation, he took a simple Dandi march, salt march, and he made the awareness. So the question would be, our job would be creating the awareness, not only ourselves, but among other people, to fight against these injustices and greed or hoarding. And that's why in a democratic country, tell the government or representative that this is whatever is happening is not right. On a personal goal basis, this is analyzed personal basis now, okay? The collective basis, you oppose, you awareness, you create the movement, also and so forth on a collective basis. For individual basis, you have to ask the question, why do I need this much? Why do I have to collect all this thing? Because when I'm gone, I'm not going to take with me. So what is this use? Why I'm doing all these karmas? That's one we are doing. Many times people think I'm collecting for my children and everything. In today's world, children don't need everything. They will create their own wealth, so on and so forth. So it's not worth it what we are doing. And suppose it doesn't mean you do not have the property. Doesn't mean with the just means. But as long as you desire the trishna, don't go after the trishna to collect more and more and more and more. So it's a mindset. What kind of mindset? Yes, by proper means, with your activities, the wealth is coming to you. Maybe use the wealth for good causes. In a Jain tradition, there is a limitations of the wealth. Many people say you should have only that much wealth. Other, you give it away. When in a Jain tradition, when the person goes for the monkhood or nunhood, but they give away all the wealth. They do not, the sadhu, sannyasi sadhu, they don't have anything. No bank account, no house, no property, only few clothes. So that's the one path too. But we are living in this world, so we have to have a certain minimum requirement. But we should not be attached to these things. We should not be attached to things. There is one example in Ramayana, I think, Janak Raja story, heard the story. Have you heard somebody asked that you are claiming yourself as a saint or sannyasi, but you are wearing all these the ornaments. He used to wear ornaments, but at the same time he used to live a simple life. He was a king. He says, listen, I'm not wearing these ornaments for myself. I being the king, and this is the tradition of the kinghood, I am wearing that thing. Otherwise, I am just sadhu. Sadhu by nature. I am not holding anything. So it's all mindset, how we create our mindset. Good question.
Talking about cause and effect. Can you hear me?
No. Say it again, please. No, say it again.
Hello? Talking of cause and effect. Cause and effect.
Cause and effect.
Oh, cause and effect. Oh, yes, yes.
If you do good karma, do we have to come back and accept the fruits of that in next janma? When we are talking about self-realization.
Yes. Good question. The karma theory is that the fruition of the karma don't have a time. It has a different timing period. The fruition of karma, good or bad karma. Some of the things are instant. If you touch the heart's plate, you will get the right away the shock, right? Those are the physical right away. But the mental karmas or the other karmas, you don't get right away results. It can come in this life later on, or it could be, as we say, we never die. It could be in the future life. So many times it has been said, this is another example here. Two people doing the same things, and one person gets lots of money, lots of position, and other thing. Other person who is doing the same thing and everything, he is not successful. We call it luck. Many times people go, well, this guy is a luck and he does not have luck, bad luck. But theory is that the person who is right now beneficial is using the interest account from the past, from his good karmas. While the person who is not successful, even though he giving the same efforts, he is not successful as the other person. Well, success is a definition, but anyway, he is not getting the results, could be due to the past karma. So you cannot. So once you learn this logic, that even though you have good fortune, this makes you humble. Many times when you have good fortune, you say, you have a collar tight, and you say, my God, I did this. I am so humble. Who knows, this could be due to your past karma. Yes, there is a purusarth is there. You are doing the things. You don't have to be hearty about what you accomplished, because some of the past karmas. At the same time, if you have a bad luck and everything, you don't have to get disappointed. This will pass. And this is again the nature's law. After sunset or night, always light comes back. So again a Ferris wheel, up and down. So the life is up and down. So maybe due to the temporary karmas or condition may not be good, but it will come. One thing about, just like we do not know, we are aware of it, we do not know who we are, the soul. We associate soul with the body. For real soul we do not know, we do not see it. We experience it, we do not see it. The same way, some of these karmas effect is not known. Nobody knows. Many Jyotish, these astrologers, they will say, well, such and such grahas or planets are in line and not line. It's all not there. It doesn't matter.
Thank you, sir.
Good question. Now at this time, I think it's a good idea, if you don't have any questions, the reason I close it early, because 11:30 you're going to play the Holy again. But let's sit, close our eyes, and let's do 3 times the Om. And then yourself start asking, I will be prompting that thing, who am I? Just think about yourself, go back to your life, who am I? Ask your question, where I come from, what is my mission in the life, whatever the life is left. Think about that. Okay, so first let's do 3 times breathing, Om sound. I'm not hearing other sound here. Oh. breathe and then exhale. Oh. Now think about, who am I? Am I this body? Am I this senses? Am I this mind? I am consciousness. I am eternal. I am candle, light. I am going to light not only my life, but to light around me. I am a generator. I am organizer. I like listeners. I am partner. I am unique person in this universe. No one is like me. I can do what I think. I can serve. I the candle, I the light. I am here to build the bridges. I am here to communicate. I am here to serve. I am here to build the bridges of love, understanding, peace. Real I. Where did I come from? This life is just one step. I was there before, I am now here, and I will be there. My journey is continuous. Journey will not stop until I have found my real self, until I have realized myself. I am unique. I am a doer. So with this positive message, I will carry the message of love. I will carry this spring message. I will accept the change. Change is inevitable. Because with change comes the freshness. With change comes the newness. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you. Wish you all the best.